about all of them and the crew and the roadies here in the studio at the moment.
Full house.
Yeah. Al Pitrelli is in here, too, and right away I'm thinking, man, I know that name. I recognize the name.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble again?
No. Yeah, no, I think you owe me money, man.
Probably.
No, you used to be with Megadeth, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. Now you're with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And let's get ourselves acquainted with this group. Now, if you know a lot about symphonic rock and kind of opera rock, this is kind of what you guys do. Big production, big stage show, big arena rock presence kind of thing.
So I don't need to be here at all this morning. You're doing great.
No, man. I want you to tell us how does something like this evolve? How do you put together a package like that?
By having a boss with a really, really high IQ and a great vision for kind of smushing together different styles of music. Paul O'Neill, who's our boss, who founded the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, had an idea of bringing to life what he's calling rock theater. Not too different when I was a kid, like The Who would do Tommy and Quadrophenia, Pink Floyd had The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, bands like that, productions like that. He just knew no boundaries, when he was writing these records. So the more vocals you write into it, the more of a storyline you write into it, the deeper the songs get, the more orchestral or choir-oriented the songs get, the more people that you start bringing into this group. And it kind of just started as a really good idea in New York City back in '95, and it grew up into the biggest touring rock and roll show on the planet. Here we are in 2012, and yes, we brought the foul weather. Sorry.
I don't blame you.
It's always my fault.
I don't blame you.
You should. Everybody else does.
You're the ones that did that, huh? Too. A lot of people call it kind of, or I think they actually use the terminology orchestral rock.
Well, it
right?
is. It is. I mean, at one moment you'll have a pretty aggressive, heavy metal song going on with all the pyro and the lasers you could imagine. The next minute you'll have Mozart's 25th Symphony being played in its entirety with the full orchestra. So it is orchestral at times. And Paul taught us how to run the dynamic from something as bombastic as that to something as quiet as maybe a guitar and vocal duet that you'll hear Chloe and I do in a couple seconds.
Excellent. And you consider it rock opera too? Would that be correct?
I think rock opera is another name. Growing up in the '60s, Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of put a spin on that with Jesus Christ Superstar and some of the other productions that went on. I mean, rock opera. It was an opera because there was no speaking. And it was rock and roll. I mean, anytime when you have a really, aggressive guitar riff or a heavy rock-sounding band, it became a rock opera. The Who, again, Floyd did it a little later on. Kansas and Rush did it.
And with the storytelling. I mean, in all those bands you mentioned, there's a lot of storytelling going on.
Yeah, it just, the individual song in a rock opera became that much more important because it told part of a tale. So going back to Andrew Lloyd Webber, when I was a kid and I heard that song that Yvonne Elliman sang years ago, I Don't Know How to Love Him, which was on WABC AM at the time, I didn't realize it was part of a bigger story. And then when you plug it into Jesus Christ Superstar, you realize of what her role is in that, and the song becomes that much more important.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of what we're doing now, and it gives you guys as listeners the opportunity to hear 8 of the greatest singers on the planet. It's a really crushing rock band, and 8 string players from the community of Duluth that we're going to get involved with tomorrow evening. So it's really
nice.
a win-win. And the flip side of this is that's on the stage. In the audience, it's quite a show as well, because you'll see, 6 or 7-year-old children with their parents and their grandparents, all with their fists in the air, making, the metal sign.
For, you can do that right now. Do that for the camera.
And there's nothing more pleasing to me to see a 92-year-old woman doing that, like Ronnie James Dio.
You've turned them.
I think they were already turned.
I think you're right. They just didn't know it was there.
Exactly.
Right. And a lot of people are familiar with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they're in the studio with us today, performing tomorrow night at Amsoil Arena. A lot of people familiar with the Christmas productions that you put on.
Tour, absolutely.
Right. And so this is sort of an extension of that, because a lot of those types of Christmas songs are actually kind of what you're going to hear. It's just that rock, opera, symphonic sound that you get.
It's just big, exactly.
Yeah, big.
We kind of got real lucky. When we recorded a song called Christmas Eve Sarajevo, which everybody kind of knows us for.
Right.
And then over the years, people have been exposed to everything else that we do. So in the winter tour, we do a bunch of the songs from the Beethoven record. And it was received so well that we decided to ask Chloe, Lowery over here, and Rob Evan to come out and tour Beethoven as a piece of, again, what we're calling rock theater. And it's another beautifully written rock opera, top to bottom. It's narrated by a gentleman named Brian Hicks, who's just electrifying in his presentation of this story. And you'll get to go through the different dynamics and the different moods of the show with us over the course of 2.5 hours in that arena of yours.
All right. You're going to give us a little flavor of that right now?
No, I'm having too much fun.
No, that's okay. Oh, that's fair.
All right.
All right. So then, Robin,
I want to show
Chloe,
you what you can see. And again, with the pyro and the lasers and all the bells and whistles in the arena is one thing, but I want you guys to kind of realize what Chloe is capable of doing at this hour of the morning with no production whatsoever other than me.
Okay.
So now that she's on the spot, don't mess up.
All right, here we go. It's Trans-Siberian Orchestra, nu92.
Time, only time could never take me away from you. And why should it try? Time never cares just what we do. It just sits on a star and gazes down, dropping its moments all around. And if I could wish upon that star, I would find what you dreamed and has gone to granted. I wanted to say this long before this dark would fall. That night I would breathless, wonder if God heard at all, for the chances I've had are now long gone, and that star is no longer wish upon. For on this night it seems too far away. You can live your life in 1,000 ways, but it all comes down to that single day when you realize what you regret. But you can't reclaim, but you can't forget. If I could just go back into my life and find you there inside this night, in eternity just drift away. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, oh, 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 yeah. Ooh.
Woo, yeah.
Ah, that was beautiful. You have a gorgeous voice.
Incredible or what?
Yeah, she sings a little bit, doesn't she?
She does do that.
Yeah, she does. Nice job, Chloe. And again, that's Trans-Siberian Orchestra tomorrow night. So tell me a little bit about the song she just sang. Now, what's the story there? Where's what's that? How's that part of the storyline?
Oh, I have no idea. I just know how to play the chorus.
No idea.
Well, you know what I'm going to do, though, is Rob Evan, who plays Beethoven, is going to come here and explain. Now, Rob and Chloe are basically the two main characters, along with a couple of the other folks.
Put Rob
we have.
on the spot. Let's put Beethoven. Beethoven's deaf, so I didn't hear any word.
Yeah, and so this is how I get away with being me. I just say thank you, and we'll answer the question this way. Rob, go.
So I play, the fictional version of Beethoven.
Okay.
His last night on Earth, and we do go through historical moments of his life that we actually know existed, and then put a little twist on it. The devil comes down, Mephistopheles, and tells me he's got my soul, and that he's going to take my soul, or I can exchange my final 10th symphony for him, which we all know doesn't exist, but we
Very Robert Johnson.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Chloe plays the immortal beloved, Teresa, and we don't know exactly if Teresa was the name of Beethoven's immortal beloved, but if you've seen the Gary Oldman movie and you know a little bit about Beethoven's life, there was one passionate lover in his life, and so Chloe comes back, and that was one of the final songs, because Beethoven's big secret throughout the evening is that he's been hiding the fact that as a musician he's deaf, and he feels like that no one will love him, and so there's a lot of really cool twists and turns to the plot, and you also get some pretty headbanging metal music mixed with Beethoven's Fifth and Ninth and Mozart's Figaro. It's pretty exciting.
Sounds like a great formula.
Yeah,
well,
for
that's what we were saying, because like Rob just said very eloquently, for everybody, you know, there's so many different layers to this story, not only musically and visually, but as a story itself. It's just a beautifully written story, because you can explore the relationship between these two and all the other characters that Paul O'Neill wrote into this opera.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I really appreciate you guys swinging
thank you
down
so
here,
much
man.
for
I
having us.
look forward to a really great show
It's
tomorrow
gonna be
night.
so much fun.
And do we have tickets to give away for that? We're going to do any of that? Okay, well, we'll do that. Let's do it before 8:30.
Okay.
But I want to encourage you to get down there. There's still tickets available. You can buy them at the AMSOIL box office. Happens tomorrow night, one show only. Really a terrific opportunity to see a production like you've never seen before at AMSOIL Arena, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
For squeezing into the little studio here we have in
and what a
Duluth,
great
Minnesota.
View.
Awesome view of every
This
single
is like
morning.
Manhattan real estate. You know, as long as you got that out the window, dude, you're good.
Incredible.
But thank you both so very much, and we'll
Thank
see you all tomorrow night.
Thank you. It's a Trans-Siberian Orchestra here. It's a new morning show, nu92.
Nu92.
Hit music.
92.